Hello once again, my fellow travellers. Today, we're doing something different once more. I'm having a look at a series of walking simulators by Connor Shelock. This comes from a recent collection he released called Bleak Blues. This one in particular is called A Sense of Pieces. Now, already I'm feeling I say this all the time, don't I? I'm feeling a little bit lost, and I've only turned a few corners. Now, my intention behind this was to to play a game where there was a bit more of an open-doorsy feeling. I feel that when I played a Scanner Somber and likewise Burn Band, that I was in a very constrained place. That there wasn't much space to move around. So, having played just one of Connor's other games, The Birthplace of Ossian, which was a big, contemplative and, purposeless open world. I had hopes that this would be something very similar, and what I see before me looks incredible. I'm just going to assume that I can jump straight down here and not suffer any consequences whatsoever. I may be wrong. Ugh. Ugh. Hooray for walking simulators and no falling damage. Thank you, Connor. Now, when I played not a Scanner Somber, just Scanner Somber. I'm probably thinking of a Scanner Darkly, which is something entirely different. When I played Scanner Somber in my last video, I think I got a little bit ahead of myself. I was very, goal-driven in that video. You know, I whacked my joystick in full forward like this, and I was zooming through the landscape, and I was scanning and basically pushing myself through that experience. I didn't know how long it was going to be. I had no idea. And I didn't know that I was going to finish it in one sitting. Granted, that sitting was like an hour and a half long, but one sitting nonetheless. And I think I was just entirely too driven to make some sort of tangible progress. The thing with a game like a Scanner Somber is, it is linear. You know, there were several points where you'd drop off something and it would be a point of no return. You can't turn back, you can't go back, you have to press on, you have to go forward. Oh, and look, these breadcrumbs, there are bits of information leading you forward, there are upgrades making your life easier, and for a walking simulator. And I do like, I'm not one of these people who uses walking simulator in a derogatory way. I think walking simulators are fantastic. I love the genre, and Well, I do think that essentially any game that's kind of in first person perspective is a walking simulator, isn't it? You know, all of these games where we're walking forward, or even a 2D game where you're walking from side to side, it is simulating walking or running, jumping, whatever. They are simulating that. And, people probably call experiences like Connor's games walking simulators because walking is the mechanism in this game. But is it? Because without somewhere to walk, there wouldn't really be any tangible simulation. If I was just walking in a vast and empty white space with no real reference points, would I even be aware that I was moving, So I like to think of walking simulators more as just games about exploration. And games where you can wander to your heart's content. And I guess a kind of somber doesn't quite fit that bill. You were walking, but it was onwards and to a goal of progressing the narrative, progressing your way through this puzzle-like environment. I mean, the navigation itself was the puzzle. But Connor's games and walking simulators like this, well, they're just simpler, aren't they? They're more pure. It's like the difference between leaving your house with a shopping list and ticking off everything you get on that list, and then as soon as you've got everything that you want, you go back home and that is it, quest complete. Connor's games, they're a magical mystery tour, aren't they? You are literally stepping outside the door of your house, placing yourself in somewhere you're not familiar with, and just walking. The wanderlust is key in games like this. You have to want to just kind of see what is over the next ridge. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe there's something incredible. It doesn't really matter either way. What matters is the journey and the sense of just seeing what's around you. And I suppose you could argue that in itself is a bit of a quest. Yeah, that's true. The wanderlust and the want to explore, sure, that's a goal, isn't it? In that sense, walking simulators can be goal-orientated. What is over that hill? What will happen if I go here? I can see something in the distance. It looks kind of interesting. I wonder what that is. But And I don't know, perhaps it's naive of me to say this, but Connor doesn't know where you're going to go in his games. He can direct you, of course, by making hills and valleys, and you know, the sometimes the natural human inclination is to take the easy route and to traverse the valleys. Sometimes the human inclination is to climb the nearest mountain and see what's up the top. But from what I can remember of the last Connor game I played, the birthplace of Ossian, is that, you know, you couldn't just run up the side of a mountain. That wasn't feasible, that wasn't doable, and you know, it was realistic because of that. I mean, if an incline is too steep, you cannot just walk your way up it. Sure, you can climb if it's got potential handholds, but not all of them do. I used to very much... I'm very sorry, my walker is squeaking. I might just have a play with it and see if I can convince it to behave. Just one moment. I don't know. I've had a play with it and I'll press on because I don't know if it's... It's an easy thing to fix, but we'll carry on. So what I was saying was, I used to play a game called Star Wars Galaxies. It was like a big open world MMO where you could literally explore vast kilometers of Star Wars planets, and it was incredible. I won't lie. As a big Star Wars geek, I absolutely loved it, and I dare say there probably won't be another Star Wars game like it ever again. Seeing how things are going with Star Wars and with games in general as of late, that is my firm belief. However, the fan community is keeping Star Wars Galaxies going, and it's wonderful, so a wonderful thank you to them for doing that excellent work. But the reason I bring that game up is because in games like that, where there were sheer cliffs, you could literally just press up against them and your character would just... well, he would just... or she would just walk straight up it with no bother at all. And I don't know. With something where you explore, you would want some form of, I don't know. I do expect a certain degree of immersion. Now, I'm not a kind of person who likes invisible walls either. They piss me off something awful. I hate invisible walls. They are so stupid and so annoying. But from a design perspective, I get why they're necessary. But say, for example, in Oblivion, there were explorable areas and there were invisible walls incredibly close to those explorable areas. And, you know, some towns you would visit, or some villages, you would be literally bumping into these invisible walls, which, you know, would bring up this message saying, no, you cannot go this way, turn back, blah blah blah. And that's really, really annoying. Now, obviously, I am not going to explore Connor's game to the same degree, because I know that Connor's games are very, very, very big. What is that thing over there? they are humongous, and I think it's kind of cool that you just don't really know quite how big they are, and just how quite long you could walk for before reaching some sort of edge. I don't think they're proc gen to the point where they just keep going and going, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Akin to something, say, like Minecraft or No Man's Sky. Obviously, No Man's Sky is all about planets, and they eventually go back on themselves, so you can literally circumnavigate the environment, but it would take you a long time just to do that on even a small moon, so it looks a bit like a skeleton, doesn't it? You can kind of see the skull and like the ribs and the leg bones. Oh, and I missed that. And there's a rib cage, and again what looks like a skull. Ah, that squeaking is so bloody annoying. I really hope I'm able to get rid of it via noise reduction or something. Maybe this bloody thing just needs a bit of oil. So yeah, I just don't know how big this game actually is. Whereas, you know, with Oblivion there was a map. You knew where Cyrodiil started and ended, as it were. Let's go and see what this monstrosity looks like. I say monstrosity, it's a human skeleton or something akin to it. It is no more monster than you or I. But there's just something a bit freaky looking about our skulls, isn't there? That's probably why skeletons are such a common computer game enemy. There's something slightly horrific about seeing what we look like once everything else is stripped away. That's cool, I guess, that the arm bone is here and you can literally just like wander along it. I'm kind of slipping off it as well. Makes you wonder, is there anything inside the skull to see, you know? What kind of lurks in there, if anything? You know, there doesn't have to be anything. There doesn't have to be a power-up, or an NPC, or a quest. the joy comes from the exploration. And exploring the possibilities. You know, if there was something particularly gamey inside here, I think my reaction would probably be, well, maybe slight surprise, maybe disappointment more than anything, just because I don't want there to have to be something for me to go and see, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Sometimes the joy should just come from going there. I like how I have to leap over vertebrae just to progress. It's a bit gross. I want to go and see the other skeleton now. Again, I'm kind of making my own quest. I'm making my own choices. This is... well, it's a refreshing change of pace after being stuck inside a crazy ass alien city and then a really dark cave with nothing but points of data for light. I'm more annoyed that that the mechanical aspect of my walk here is letting me down. But hey ho. Hopefully it's nothing a little bit of noise reduction can't get rid of. Whew, I think I'm just going to have a little break here. All walkers, whether real or virtual, should always have the opportunity to just stop and just take in their sights. Part of me wonders whether I can even reach that skeleton. Maybe I can't. Maybe that's the point. You know, you start scanning the landslide. The landslide? You start scanning the landscape for a viable route, as it were. If I walk up that incline in front of me, will that lead up to the skeleton, or is it kind of a red herring? Will it just lead to a sheer rock face with no means of progression? And when I reach the skeleton, what will happen then? Will I see more things in the distance to reach out to make my next quest, as it were? I wonder what these, like, rising dots of, like, luminescent pink are. What are they supposed to be? They remind me of, like, the the, like, human killing spores from what was that thing called? It was a Studio Ghibli film. Is it like Naushka Valley of the Wind or something like that? Where the whole planet is essentially fighting back against human occupation by making deadly plant and animal life. It's poisonous to people because, well, humans have basically damaged the earth so much that it begins to reject us, as it were. Maybe these aren't mountains. Maybe those people are, to scale, and our character is some sort of insect crawling about. Exploring the bodies of those who came before the planet decided to lash out at us and show us who's boss. I don't think I can reach that skeleton, and that's okay. I don't have to. And the most wonderful thing about all of this is there is no goal, there is no end point. I'm never going to see or be able to explore all of this landscape in any kind of reasonable time frame. And that gives me somewhat more freedom than, say, Burnband or Scanner Somber did, in that, as wonderful as they were essentially closed environments. They were, they were limited. Burnband was an absolute joy to experience, with all of its funny little analogues to human life and winks and nods to human culture. Scanner Somber was a wonderful mystery, but this is just a lovely walk. This misty, green and snow-capped land, dotted with all these unusual remains. my walker's squeaking has calmed down a little bit. I'm sorry I keep banging on about it. It's just... You know when you plan to do something that you like doing, and then something takes the joy out of it a bit. Yeah, it's like that. It's like finding a fly in your beer, or getting chucked out of a movie partway through because the projector breaks down. Yes, that's actually happened. It's like, what? So I had to sit through, was it Captain America Civil War twice just to see the last quarter of the film. Ah, man. I never want to see that film again. Wow, I love this. Now I'm in the valley. There's this absolutely gorgeous pink haze to everything. I'm just stumbling through the fog. Not really knowing where I'll end up. I tried to get this working with VR and my Vorpex system. Again, I'm sure given time that I could have made it work. But it's still rather warm here in England. It's a lot rainier than it was when I was filming Escana Sombra. Did I just pronounce the R in Sombra? Oh dear. So I still feel it's still a little bit too warm to wear a VR headset. The trouble is that they heat you up so fast, your face, and if you start sweating, the lenses just fog and you can't see anything, and it just makes the whole thing a bit pointless. So even though weather's calmed down somewhat in the UK today, it's been non-stop rain all day. The temperature itself is still a bit too warm to don a headset, I feel. And when I play something like this, I literally just want to enjoy myself. I don't want to have to have a crazy complex setup. When I record these videos, I literally whip out my stepper, a bung, OBS and Audacity on, set both to record, and I just start walking. And it's that simple. And when it comes to editing the film together as well, like, I've got a template. It's literally chucking the audio file, chucking the video file, publish. Very, very minimal effort. Because I'm doing this for the enjoyment of doing it, not for the toil, not to, you know, not to get a mass following or lots of hits or anything like that. Doing something like this is not going to get me YouTube fame. I'm not going to stick thumbnails of my stupid looking shocked face onto everything to get clicks. This is literally just, I don't know, a fun little project. And if people see it and like it and want to share it, that's cool. If not, whatever. I'll probably still keep doing it and see, you know, if someday I get, you know, people interested in doing the same. I think it would be kind of cool. I mean, there are people who love exploring video games and just taking their time and just seeing what's in them and appreciating them for their, you know, not for their game mechanics, but for their, more for their aesthetic beauty, I guess. And, you know, those kind of videos have inspired me. You know, people who stream themselves just wandering around a planet in No Man's Sky, or series like Other Places, which take a game and basically just film several still shots within those games and just collect them together and just can demonstrate just how, you know, how beautiful games can be. And I wanted to do something like that, but not so edited, I guess, and to have an element of surprise for myself. I wanted it to feel like I was naturalistically exploring something for the first time. You know, so I had that kind of element of it being novel. For me, and maybe my viewer too. I love those mountains there, like out of the environment around me, it's kind of calling me. It's like, you want to come over here and see what's on the other side, but to get here you're gonna have to go down there. I could have just gone around, I suppose, and maybe it's like a bit like a metaphor for life. In trying to self-determine where you go, you end up just getting lost, losing your way, and eventually you just start trying to make what you can of life. You didn't reach your goal, but you know, you only get one life. You persevere on anyway, and maybe you'll end up doing a job you don't like, or I don't know, maybe not reaching the kind of life goals that you wanted to. But there's usually other aspects that keep you going, like good friends and a nice family. Yeah. And just the promise that well, you know, that you only get one life, and sometimes you just do what you can with it. Sorry, that got a bit philosophical, didn't it? Well, almost like agony ante. I'm very sorry. I think it's the heat. It's getting to me. It's making me warm and contemplative. They sure are damn tall mountains. And I think having somewhat completed my soft goal of getting to the other side of these two, a whole bunch of more land awaits ahead of me, and what will happen when I start traversing that way? Well, who knows? I'm going to leave you wondering, because this has been a lovely walk in A Sense of Pieces by Connor Shelock. And this is where we are going to stop. Thank you very much for joining me. And I hope maybe you're enjoying what I'm doing. Whatever it is, I'm going to keep doing it. Until next time.